Hello and welcome to School Matters. Thanks for joining us for our program today. Today we're talking about robotics and how students are involved in robotics with Cleveland County Schools. Our guest today is Bobby Jo Bond, and you are a science teacher, but
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
also the robotics coordinator for Cleveland County Schools. So thank you for being here. What a treat to have you here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
And we're going to talk about robotics, of course.
I love.
But first, tell us a little bit about you, if you don't mind.
Okay, well, I am Bobby Jo Bond, and I have been a science teacher in Cleveland County for 16 years, since about 2008. I have been a teacher for 21 years now of science. I moved from Tampa to North Carolina several years ago and joined Cleveland Early College High School. Okay, as a science teacher for Cleveland Early College High School. Spent about 13 years working there, and then have transitioned in the past couple of years to Cleveland Innovation, which is the virtual school for Cleveland County. And then about 3 years ago, I took on the role of robotics as a robotics coordinator for Cleveland County as well.
Right, very exciting program. And if you don't mind, just give us a little bit of an overview of the robotics program in our school system.
Okay, well, robotics is a program that has been given to us by the First Robotics League. It's a LEGO sponsored league, and they provide robots as well as missions that students have to complete through coding of the robot. So they have to code a robot to run certain missions and to complete certain challenges, and to successfully do those based on the code that they write. So we get a lot of coding practices in there. We learn how to properly code and run the robot to be successful in its mission, whichever missions they give us. Also, the robotics program not only involves the coding of the robot, but also will allow students to collaborate as well as perform a research-based presentation.
Right.
They'll present something that they had researched, and they also get involved in a teamwork activity as well. So it's like an all-encompassing STEM-based program that's not just robots, but it also incorporates many other different things that the kids need to know how to do.
Right. So when you say Lego League, the robot is actually made with Legos.
Yep, it
Do
is.
the students build it?
Yep, they build it.
Okay.
Lego provides directions
Uh-huh.
online, of course, and they run through the building, the creation of their robot. They do have a base that they have to build Legos on top of in order to create this robot. And then that base connects to the computer that they code, and it allows the robot to perform different functions as they code it. So everything is Lego based. It is Lego sponsored. So any Lego type material can be used on the robot in competition.
Okay. And you mentioned the missions and the research. So is there sort of a theme that they're working with the
yeah.
missions, or give us an example?
Yeah, so Lego League does send out a theme every year. And our theme, actually, we have done the same theme for several years, mainly because we are not at the professional level of robotics. So we've kind of taken a step back, and we have split what they sent us into 3 different years. So Lego League usually sends about 16 different missions. We have split that into 3, 6 to 7 missions at a time, and we have reuse some missions. So we usually do about 6 missions every year. And that allows the students to really focus and to learn the coding process versus having to do 16 missions, not really learning what they have to do, because they have to compete and perform these missions in 2.5 minutes.
So give us an idea of what a mission is. When you say mission, let our viewers know kind of what that looks like.
Yeah, so the topic that we are studying is environmental conservation. So we're working with an environmental topic. And First Lego League has provided different missions, which are challenges that are built by the student that promote some kind of environmental awareness. Now we had like an engine that they had to build. This is all out of Legos. They built an engine that they had to program their robot to switch from gas powered to electric powered. So they had to program their robot to actually switch the lever that moved the engine from gas to electric power. Currently this year we're working with trains, and we're moving a train, and they're promoting using more of an electric base than a gas based. They were talking about wind turbines last season. We talked about wind turbines, and we moved turbine blades around the challenge board as one of our missions as well. So there's a lot of environmentally based topics that the students actually study in their research product when we look at the research part of robotics.
Okay, interesting, interesting. So how do students get involved? It sounds exciting and fun. So how do they get involved?
Yeah, so all elementary schools in Cleveland County have a robotics team. Okay, that's the way it's been for several years since I've been with the program. So each school has a designated coach, and they go through a process that we've written, that Cleveland County Schools has written, in order to accept members on their team. Okay, so they have to try out, they have to present, they have to build Legos. So we want to see general coding, that you have an understanding of the computer, because that stuff is important when it comes to being on a robotics team. So yes, all elementaries have a robotics team, and they all go about choosing their individuals differently. They all have their own little method of who they choose for their team. So it is offered from students from 4th grade to 6th grade in some of the elementaries. And then recently we have invited all middle schools to have teams, and now all 4 of our middle schools also have robotics teams. So we have expanded that to the 6, 7, 8, now that the middle schools are 6th grade. So 6, 7, 8 has joined our program as well as of this year. So that's exciting. It's an exciting development.
Absolutely.
So 4 through 8 is robotics.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. I'm thinking about all the skills the students learn from this experience. I mean, I can definitely see problem solving, critical thinking, but talk a little bit about that, what the students gain, the skills they're practicing and learning.
Yeah, so I mean, you need to remember that we're working with little kids, right? These are anywhere from 9 to 13. So developing those skills with them, learning the computer, learning coding, presentation skills, which they don't get a lot of opportunity to do at the level that we do in robotics. They learn how to present themselves. They learn how to research, and currently we're researching pretty, in-depth topics. We're looking at real-world issues right now in robotics, and teams are researching real-world problems, what's going on in our world, so that they can come up with a presentation that professionals will actually walk around and listen to, from our professionals from our community. So these 9-year-olds, these little kids, learn how to present, learn how to make eye contact, learn how to handle their voice in a presentation mode. They learn how to research, how to gather data. They learn credibility, what's credible, what's not. They learn about real-world problems, real-world issues. This year we're designing a solution. So we are actually going through the analysis. We're analyzing what we can do to fix this real-world issue. We're data collecting. They're doing trial and error, and that's just the research base. So of course they're running a robot. They're learning how to code. They're learning how to make decisions quickly. They're learning how to work as a team. Okay, they're learning how to improvise and adapt. And then we also have a teamwork aspect as well. So again, focusing on teamwork, communication, working together. I mean, there's so many skills that they learn as little kids that would just benefit them, as they grow, as they get into high school, as they get into college, and into their careers.
Wonderful to introduce it to them early on, and then let them develop that over the years before they ever graduate. How did you get interested in the robotics program? How did you land here?
How did I land here? Well, that's a fun story. No, I've always been interested. I'm a science nerd. I've been science my entire life. And no, robotics pretty much wasn't a thing when I was growing up. I'm sure it was a thing, but it was not anything that was at the school level that we really ever focused on. And being really interested in how things work, I think is a reason why I was really interested in that. Well, how am I going to make this work? You know, it's that piece that I never got to learn as a child, which was really interesting to me as an adult. So when that opportunity came around, they said, would you do robotics? And I said, I don't know anything about robotics. I didn't grow up in the age of technology, really, compared to what it is today. I didn't
Right.
grow up in that age. Like, I didn't have a computer until I was 26 years old, you know, so I was an adult. So being that science nerd that I am, taking on that challenge, that research, I wanted to jump in and to learn that aspect, because, you know, I'm raising the next generation. I'm raising those kids. You know, I'm an influence on those kids. If I don't know what I'm doing, how can I teach them to know
Right.
what they're, you know, to do robotics?
Did you start as a robotics coach for one of the schools?
I am currently a coach. Well, I started as the coach for innovation,
Uh-huh.
as well as the coordinator for Cleveland County School. I started at the same time.
Right. Oh, okay. So you do coach a
I
team
do coach
as
a
well
team, yes.
as coordinator.
I have a
Okay.
wonderful little team.
Wonderful.
So.
Great. Talk about partnerships, collaborations with business and industry. I can see how they would be very interested and benefit from this program. So talk about those
Yeah,
partnerships.
most definitely. The community has been awesome. We've reached out. They've actually reached out to us. Albemarle over in Kings Mountain. They've been a great supporter of our program. They've partnered with us. They've helped us. They've sponsored us, and they've just been a great resource that we hope to further develop that partnership with Albemarle. So, you know, these kids are the future. They're the ones that are going to jump into those jobs, and having that partnership just makes it real for them. They can see that this stuff is real. And we also partner with CCC. We've formed that relationship recently with their new engineering lab over there, which
Yes,
is just
yeah.
beautiful. So we've partnered with them, and they've been more than open to helping us out, to providing a space for us to do our program. We're actually doing the first program over there in November with all the students. So we're inviting all the robotics teams over to CCC campus, where we're going to go through our first challenge day and actually get to tour the campus and learn about their engineering program and all they have to offer. So the sponsorships, the relationships have been awesome from the community.
And you mentioned Albemarle as being the sponsor of the robotics program. And Albemarle is one of those that has STEM careers.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that is a focus in education, are those STEM careers. And in our culture as it is right now, STEM careers are a big focus. Talk about what this is doing, students who participate in this program, how it's creating an interest and leading them and introducing them to those STEM careers.
Yeah, most definitely. Of course, having that relationship, they come in and they speak like real world. This is really what we do, and this is how what you're doing as a robotics student meets our needs, what you're going to do in your future, right? So what they learn is they learn those key engineering skills that they can further develop, further be interested in, you know, over the next 10 years of their life, and actually jump into that career as an engineer, as a coder. I mean, our world is full of those kind of opportunities for these kids, and opening their eyes to that as young kids, where they can actually focus their path in education, where they can say, yes, I want to go to CCC, and I want to be an engineer, and I want to go to Albemarle. I've already made a relationship with them. You know, I know what they do. I know what they stand for. I know what I can do to help them, because I have this background in robotics. So those STEM careers, I mean, it is the focus of our nation. It's where we're going in this, not even our nation, just our world. It's where we're going, and allowing these kids to experience this, to get excited about STEM, about science, about engineering, and, you know, and what they can do with their future. Even as a 9-year-old, what they can do with their future, it's awesome and eye-opening, and they really are drawn to the reality of it. They want to go in that direction, being that robotics kid. And I'm like, we love this, and we want to further this in our career and our future.
It is awesome. It really is. Well, we're going to take a quick break, so don't you go anywhere, and don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
Cleveland Community College has identified strengthening online learning as the topic for its quality enhancement plan. We're calling it SOUL. SOUL's 5-year implementation plan is focused on continuous improvement of online courses and promoting student success. We're excited for you to take this journey with us.
Welcome back to School Matters. Today we are with Bobby Jo Bond, who's the robotics coordinator for Cleveland County Schools, and we're talking about some fun stuff in the area of STEM education. STEM, of course, being science, technology, engineering, and math. All really good stuff that we've talked about. Let's go back and talk about the program and give a better picture of what it looks like. Talk about some of the events surrounding our robotics program.
Okay, so of course, in the classroom, coaches usually will have meetings about once a week
Okay.
with their robotics team. Now, it is up to the coach what they decide to do. Once a week is about normal. And there will be 3 events during the school year
Okay.
that all of Cleveland County, all the robotics teams in Cleveland County will get together. And we call them challenge days. Call them challenge days, and we have 3. The first one is in November. The second one is in January, and then we have our final competition, which is going to be at the end of March this year.
Okay.
And during those challenge days, we will split the group. We have about 24 robotics teams in Cleveland County with our new middle school teams. So we have about 24, and we'll split them into about groups of 8 teams, and they will rotate through stations. And these stations, during our challenge days, our main goal is to get them ready for their competition.
The final.
For the final in April. So they go through the different skills that they're going to need in order to be successful on their competition day. So actually this year we're not doing 3 rotations, but we're doing 4 because we do have more teams this year. So we're doing 4 rotations. And like I said previously, we're going to be on the CCC campus during our November challenge day. And our first group is going to be coding the robots. So I actually go through the coding system with the students. They bring their robots with them, they bring their computers. We run through different really simple coding programs. I show them how that works. They run through lifting the arms of their robots and running it around in circles, all things that are going to be necessary for completing their missions during their competition day. So that's the first rotation. The second rotation, they will do a team building event where 2 of the teachers from the district will do a team building workshop with them, because we really want them to increase their team building or their team abilities, because robotics is a team event. Okay, they have to work together. They need to learn how to communicate. They need to learn how to adapt when they need to adapt, and how to do that respectfully and quickly in a robotics event. So they'll do a teamwork challenge. They also will have time to do research, because they do have a presentation that they have to research and present. So they do have some research time, and their coaches will work with them. We actually usually have Albemarle will be in there, and different people will be in there. We've also worked with a Broad River, a man from the Broad River who will come in and kind of actually talk about, well, how do we research? Why is this important? What are we going to do here? So they'll run them through the research process. And then the last rotation this year, which is our new one, is we're going to do a tour of the new engineering building over at CCC, learn about the program, the opportunities with them, and also speak with Albemarle on how what they do supports the robotic program or how the robotics program could support what they do in the future. So that's our challenge day, and we have 2 of those.
Right.
And students come prepared to run their robots. And our second challenge day is more advanced. So they come already knowing how to code, and we run through different challenges with the robot, more advanced things. And it's pretty much the same type of rotation for the second challenge day. And then our competition, we have a competition at the end, which is in March, and teams come ready. I mean, the energy in
excited.
the room, you got 200 8 to 13-year-olds. They are excited.
They've had
They are beaming.
all year to
they
get
got
ready, get
teamwork
excited.
going on. They love each other. They love the program. I mean, it's a blast. And they come in with their robots, and then we go through 3 different challenges where they will compete with each other and get scored. And they get scored by professionals that are, many of them are outside of Cleveland County schools that, Albemarle will send people to score, and Broad River has, and several. I know CCC this year will be sending people to score. And these students will, first of all, do robot runs. They'll go through their missions, and with each mission, they earn a certain number of points. So if they complete the mission successfully, they get points. They have 2.5 minutes to run through all their missions to get points. So that's the first challenge. They compete against each other with that. The second one is they'll have a teamwork challenge where they have to sometimes build something, create, analyze, recreate.
And this is not involving the robot,
This is not involving the robot. This
Okay.
is pure teamwork.
Right.
We want to see how you work as
how
a
they
team.
do together.
And they get graded or scored. I can't say graded, but scored through that as well. And then the third challenge is their presentation, where they will present as professionals. They'll present their project. They have a final project that they present. They present all their research to professionals who are walking around, who all have a rubric, who scores their presentation. So at the end, all 3 scores will be tallied, and then winners will be chosen as to who the winner is in the robotic runs, who the winner is in presentation, who the winner is in teamwork, and then we have overall challenge winners as well. We also do have, during that time, a presentation of several awards. We do during the final challenge day, we do different awards that the team will choose, will nominate students for different awards. I know we have the Roop Award. He was a key player in
yes.
robotics
Yes, Richard
for
Roop,
many
yes.
years. So we do have an award dedicated to him. So we have dedicated robot runs to him, and the team who gets the highest robot score wins, the award. They get put on a plaque that honors
That's
his
nice.
name.
That's nice.
We also have the Tanner Denton Award, and Tanner Denton was an elementary schooler,
student.
student who sadly passed away in the middle of the season, and we have an award dedicated to him, to his memory. He was well involved. He loved robotics, and we wanted to honor the students who have that passion and honor him as well. So his mom will present that award, and it's really touching. It's a really neat way to end our competition.
Now, you mentioned 24 teams. How many students are on a team? How many students come together for these challenge days? and
Yeah,
the
well,
final?
it's jumping, and there's kids everywhere. We have tons and tons of it's so exciting. Tons and tons of kids, and usually a team is from 5 to 8
Okay.
students. Average of 6, but we do have a couple outliers.
Okay.
And so that makes 24 teams times, we got
so,
200
yeah.
plus kids running around, plus coaches. And
Right.
some teams have 2. They'll have a coach and an assistant coach. So there's a lot of people.
And you said the first challenge day will be at CCC on their campus.
Yes.
So the second challenge day and the final are at Cleveland County Schools?
Yep, at the
Central
Central Services, the
Okay.
Central Service building there.
And that final event, or maybe the challenge day too, are they open to parents or guests who want to
we
attend?
do
or-
allow parents to come watch robot runs because we
Okay.
are in the TPA gym with
Okay.
our robot runs and all of our tables. So we do allow parents to come watch the robot runs. We also do the teamwork event in the gym as well.
Okay.
So the parents can come and watch
Those two things, yeah.
their students, their children,
Yeah.
with teamwork and with robot runs. And that's a lot of fun too, because the parents get really excited watching. There's cameras going and videos,
Right.
and it's a lot of fun.
That's
So.
great. That is awesome. Talk about how this program has evolved. It's been going on for quite a few years
Yeah.
now, several years.
I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly how many years. I do know that it was going on well before I knew anything about it, and well before COVID. Now, of course, COVID played a
Oh, yeah.
huge role in robotics. I know it was a big program. I think Mr. Roop had a big role to play in the program before COVID, and then COVID came and everything stopped,
Yeah.
and the program was completely discontinued. So it wasn't until several years after COVID that, I got that offer and said, hey, you want to do robotics? And I said, okay, I don't know anything about it. So, I sat down with my boss at the time, and she went through, this is what we've done in the past. What are we going to do with this program now? So for the past 3 years, it has been growing, developing, changing, and I think growing for the better. It's been, just evolving from what it was. It was a great program then, and now I just think it's more encompassing of the STEM aspect versus just robotics.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Talk about feedback you've gotten from parents, from students, the community. What do they have to say about this program?
Well, it, of course, is a new program, and I don't think a lot know about it, except for those that are actually participating. But, I've sat down with many students and said, hey, what do you think about this program? And they said, we love it. We love it because it challenges us. They love the challenge, and it teaches us. They love the learning, because not every day you get to code a robot, especially as a 9-year-old. So they love the challenge of it. It takes them out of their the shell. They have to present themselves. They have to step up to the challenge. And the kids that I've talked to a bunch of 5th graders recently about this, and they said, we like that social aspect. We love the challenge, the presenting that we don't get to do. It's just that experience of standing there and being important and saying, I can do this as a 9, 10-year-old.
Right. Well, it pushes their limits, and those things,
It does.
while it makes them nervous, after the fact, they're glad they did it.
Yeah, and
so-
a lot of the kids, they come back a second year. I mean, they wouldn't come back if they didn't like it.
Right.
So they come back. So that, in my mind, says, yes, we're doing what we need to do for these kids. They love it. They're coming back to it. Even though it pushes them outside their comfort zone and it's hard, they love it. And, parents, of course, if their kids love it, they love it.
Oh, yeah.
And, I have worked with parents, and parents are just excited that there's opportunities for those kids. They may not have athletes at home, but they have these kids who want to be part of that team.
Well, it is such a great opportunity. You mentioned that word several times, and just appreciate all that you do to provide that opportunity for students. I know it's a lot of work, so thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
And thank you for joining us for School Matters.
School Matters is a production of the Communications Department of the Cleveland County School System. For additional information, visit our website at www.clevelandcountyschools.org.